A good step to crafting amazing architectural portfolios is observing layouts of existing portfolios. Here, I'm going to be running you through some great portfolios selectively handpicked for you.
But before we go into that, here is a helpful tip to search portfolios. Go to issuu.com. Here you can search architectural portfolio, and you will be bombarded with several samples of architectural portfolios to choose. Actually, people upload their portfolios to this kind of websites. You will actually see a lot of architectural portfolios, a whole lot, for which you can browse through, especially student portfolios. You can select anyone, copy the link, open a new tab, ISSU Downloader, search ISSU Downloader, open the first page that comes, and you can paste the link you copied. So this way you can actually download several portfolios and save them as PDFs to your system. Yeah, so this is a helpful link to actually extract Adobe portfolios from ISSU with ISSU PDF downloader. Alright, so yes, we are just going to go straight into this. This is a sample portfolio, and here we are just going to learn the design principles that was applied while creating this portfolio. We are going to learn the layouts, we are going to learn the contents, and also we are going to learn the thought process that went into creating this portfolio. This is a cover page, simple cover page, but then it captures the elements of, it's quite unique, and it captures all the elements that are needed: the name, the year or of the person, location, and everything. Then next is so we see he works with spreads. The next page is his profile page, and this profile page just gives a brief background of the person: education, work experience, awards, honors, certification, and skills. So it's more like a CV in your portfolio. Depends on what the portfolio is for. I feel this portfolio is more like he uses it to apply for jobs or internships or so. Yes, so if your portfolio, that's what you're looking to have, this is a format that you can follow. Yes. Next is table of content. It just shows the projects. So we are trying to focus, it's a portfolio, so you're trying to put your best works. I would recommend 4 to 6 just to show a wide range of works. But if it's only 3 you have, it's still fine. But then 4 to 6 just to show 4 to 6 that cuts across different building types or different architectural design types, just to show a wide range of experience. So the table of contents, then the portfolio page. So we see that in this portfolio pages, he grouped all his projects. Yes, it's more like he grouped the project. So this is the first project. It has everything: the design process, the design development, the design solution, and everything together. Then we see project 2, the same thing. It has a cover page per se, or an introduction page. Yes, an introduction page. Then it now has the remaining pages that now explains the whole design and showcases the work done. It showcases the work done in that project. So we see everything here. The next project, we see the introduction page, then we still see the design solution or the project development, like the design development. Yes, throughout. So that way you group your projects. It makes it easy for one to follow through. This is the next project, and we see that the introduction page and then the design development here, which also showcases other parts of the design development here, which also showcases other parts or the details about the design. Yes, So next, we are going to look at the second portfolio. So this is the next portfolio, and I'm just going to arrange it like so. Yes, next portfolio, and we see a simple cover page, simple but unique. It's attractive. Someone will want to know what's going on here. Then we see the table of contents and the resume page. Yeah, you put his photo, but you mustn't put your photo, right? You can choose to, yes, you can actually choose to put your photo, but it's not a must. Where you feel comfortable with, if you feel comfortable with that, then you include it. And if you're including a photo, you should include a professional photo, like not a casual, not where you're dripping or slaying or whatever, but then it's more like a very professional headshot or portrait, yes, which fits into the whole resume vibe. So next we see his projects. So you also see that he grouped his projects. You have the introduction page, then you now have the design development, or in the remaining pages. Same here, we have the introduction page, then we now have the remaining design development. So going through all this portfolio layouts, you would see that there is hierarchy in it. There's hierarchy in the sense that, okay, we see hierarchy. There are some things that are more important and some things that are less important. So that hierarchy helps us to follow through. Okay, this is more important. We see here the title is more important, then the details are less than the text. So you see that hierarchy shows what's more important, and it helps us to flow through the project. It's more like it directs our eyes to flow through. Let's see, like here we see the main image here, then the text, the details, then the supplementary image here. So all these layouts, they help to provide contrast. The difference in sizes, they provide contrast. You would see here we have a very large image here that spans this entire place. Then you would see the elevations here. So all this contrast in sizes actually help us to, it actually helps the layouts of the design. Yes, because contrast is very important. So the difference in sizes helps the contrast. It helps it to be more visually appealing. Going through all the projects, you would see that you would see the hierarchy is consistent. You would also see there is consistent use of fonts, and yes, there's consistent use of fonts, and there's consistent use of contrast. Yes, going through this whole project, you would see the flow. Then he grouped his interior renders too, or interior visualizations. Yes, then he added research experience. So that's for this. You can see the whole flow of this layout. Very simple, but then striking. He puts the important things and leaves out the less unimportant ones. So yeah, and here is the last portfolio we are going to be looking at today in this lesson. So yes, this is another portfolio, another Nigerian, though studied, yes, another Nigerian too. Most of these portfolios, most of them are Nigerians here, though some of them have had the privilege to school abroad. But then this now Nigerian from Unilag, I guess. Then, okay, we see the cover page, very simple cover page. Just has these line elements and then portfolio, and yes, it just has this line elements, then portfolio and her name. Yeah, her name. So the next page, in the next page, you would see her profile. So this is more like the CV that we talked about. So remember the contents of a portfolio, the cover page first, then the profile. So here in the profile, we see it's more like a mini CV, a rundown of her skills, summary, work experience, education, qualifications, publications, competitions, and research. So that's what you capture here, and also contact details if needed. Yes, so this is where you capture about yourself And then the next, yes, the table of contents. So remember we said the table of contents comes after the profile. So just like we saw in the two previous portfolios, this is another one that follows the same format. Yes, we see she included up to 8 projects. Yes, so then her portfolio is quite much and bulky, but then it still follows the same layouts and formats. You have small text or minimal text, and then more images because it's a portfolio. It's a visual portfolio. So the text are just to describe and explain what's happening in the images. So you should take note of that. It's not a book. You're not including the text is just explanatory, and descriptive text is more of the visual experience. So we see this project, she explains everything. It shows the site plan, shows some axonometric view, 3D blocks, explaining the concept development, shows the section, just different views that explain that project. Then the next project, the same thing. She has the main introduction page, and then now has the following pages. This should relate to the site analysis and concept development. Then you have the form development, then the design, the whole design. So you would see that there's actually a format to how the layouts play out. You'd see there's consistency to it. There's this title text, there's this text here that shows which project we are on. So it guides us on which project we are on. This is architecture of the senses. That's the title of the project. So we have this text that shows the project. So at any point in the project pages, we know what project we are looking on and the page number. So that way, yes, this is another project, Directorate of Student Affairs, and we see it changes here to Directorate of Student Affairs, and we see the whole conceptual development, explanatory, and then yes, this is another project. So you see the flow in that. This is an axonometric view. So for each project, you create your files. You make them ready. If you're including your axonometric view, if you're including your concept development, your form development, all this should be ready. So the portfolio, you're just compiling them, bringing out layouts that are suitable for the explanation of each project. So if you're going through every project, you see that it has this sort of story or explanation that just looking at it, it's more like you can flow through each project. Yes, hers is quite bulky, but then you get some of them, it has the full page as an image. Some of them just half page as an image, or small text like this. The whole page is the render, then the small text that explains the design story and all. So yes, that's the idea of the portfolio. You have your projects in groups, and then the pages that follow that explain it. So you see what we talked about: hierarchy, hierarchy, contrast, typography, and then she included her other interests. This is something you can include in your portfolio if you want to, but then the interest should actually relate to what we're talking about, or relates to architecture per se. If it's an architecture portfolio, I think it should be that your interest is meant to harness your architecture skills. So you'll see our interest, art. Yes, so this actually now influences her architecture philosophy. So this just shows a unique part of her, or unique perspective of her, that she's an artist, or just shows several of her work. And then the ending pages, with the last page, which is also a very simple page, similar to the cover page. So yeah, that's for that. So going through this, we actually see some resemblance in the three portfolios. We see the resemblance in the outline of the portfolio, the cover page, the profile page or the mini CV, the table of contents, and then the project pages. You will see that in the 3 portfolios, they grouped their projects. Each project would have like 4 to 5 pages or 4 to 6 pages, just to show that flow or design story. So that's what you should adopt in your. It must not be that much. You can have your own as 4 pages, 2 pages, 3 pages, but then it should be multiple, should show that flow.